Thing started up, moved it. Obviously the brakes are still dragging. I got it narrowed down to the back wheels, so I'm going to put this thing under the shed over there and pop these back wheels off and pull these calipers off, see if we can't get some of this freed up. Like I say, I bled the brakes. I think that was okay, but maybe the calipers, you know, sticking, not sliding. So we'll pop them off there and yeah, see what we can figure out here. So let's do it. Out of the weather, more so than I normally am. We'll spray some penetrating oil on these lugs here and see if we can't get them coming off there, because as I recall, the fronts wasn't that fun when we took them off for the axle swap a long time ago. Yeah, need to get back on this thing. Maybe throw it flatbed on it. Probably cut it down a couple feet if I use that one, because it's still pretty long. Don't need all that. I think that's 14 foot. Probably cut 2 or 3 foot out of it for this thing. Yeah. All right, let's do this. How well does WD penetrate? Oh yeah. Yeah, I was kind of worried them wouldn't come loose, so far they're coming loose. So here it's free. It stops. Yeah, probably help if I take the last one off. Alright, so I haven't checked the other side yet, but it looks funny on camera, but it looks funny in real life too. So this rotor's warped. I don't know if you can see down through there. If I can hold it still enough. And it's right here where there's these wedges I guess them's wedges or weights, but it's cracked. These fins are cracked through here. Not sure what the problem is. I want to pop the other side off here in a second and check it, but I don't know that the calipers are sticking, but they're not really sliding good on these, so I'll clean these up. But that right there, I believe, can cause what issue we're seeing. So here's where the cracks were at in it. I basically took them little, I guess they was weights out of there. Maybe water stood in there and it froze, broke it, I don't know. But it's right where them little wedges were at. I keep calling them wedges, but I guess they were maybe weights. You know, they go in and bend them little tabs open to balance them. But I'm gonna find me a new hub rotor here, but I knocked that out, knocked the rust out, and it kind of went back together a little bit. You know, hit the edge with a grinder where I kind of boogered it up with a hammer. But for yard driving, I think it'll be okay for right now. But like I said, I'm gonna get another one of these. I'm gonna throw the wheel back on and we'll check that other side, see if it turns freely, and then we'll see what she does here. Well, looks like this side's doing it too. It's dragging anyway. There, it's getting tight. So, I wonder what would have caused that. I mean, maybe one of you guys know. I haven't took this side off yet, obviously, but I about bet it's the same problem that was on the other side. We think it was sitting down in water so deep, maybe. It was just up into the rotor and then it froze. I think that would have done it. I'm just spitballing, but have no idea. So let's pop these wheels off and see what's going on this side. Well, I think I'm wrong about this one. I believe the caliper's sticking because this side of the rotor is thicker than the back. The pads are good, but I believe it's sticking, so I guess that's good that it ain't cracked as well. But let's pop this one off here and see if we can't free it up. Alright, well, got it back together. I don't know, I mean, I pushed the pistons in. I don't know if they're sticking real bad or what. They seem kind of hard to go back in, so might be tearing back into it again. But for right now, it should be freed up to roll when I drive it. So we'll see what that does. But yeah, I don't know if I need to get new calipers or redo those. You know, no, I'm not sure. So yeah, let's test her out. brakes dragging yet. Okay, that's a good sign. Rolling good. So I'm gonna back up, back toward the shed. That way, if it locks up, I don't think it'll be out here all the way. So. Hardly no pedal, but I did bleed a lot of the fluid out back there, so. Okay. So far they're working. I believe we might be freed up. All right. Starting to get a little bit of a pedal. A little bit of a drag now. I don't know. I don't think so. Still moving. Back and forth. It ain't. I don't really think it's dragging. So, all right. Well, I'm happy about that. I mean, it's probably not fixed on my luck, but at least now I know that there was a problem back here, and it wasn't just the old vacuum booster or something over here leaking. But I do have the hydro boost to go on this. You know, that'll be going on soon. Well, marker lights are working too. Yeah. Glad to have that done. Like I say, still probably going to put the hydro boost on here pretty soon. And try to get them all sorted out. I'll have to find that rotor. I need one of those. Yeah. We'll reconvene on this here some more this week. Probably look at getting the flatbed on it too. So I'm gonna start buckling down on some of the steering stuff and suspension stuff in the front as well. So I got a bunch of loose bolts. That seems to be doing okay with that steering, so I'll probably tighten a lot of those up, grease some of those bushings and stuff. Some of them probably need replaced. I think they're a little bit sloppy. But start trying to buckle some of this stuff down, you know, a little more permanent, because everything I do, I say I'm gonna come back and fix it. So I need to whittle away at that. I don't need to keep doing that no more. So but yeah, anyway, I'll probably chop the flatbed, see if it's going to look good on there or not. That way we can start looking for a tool bed or something there if we need to. The tank seems full of rust, but I don't hear any water. Alright, so robbed the air tank off the lopro. This video's kind of been all over the place. working on the brakes. Probably got more stuff going on with this Lowstar. I'm not even sure what I'll throw together here. So it's kind of everything I've been doing here lately. But anyway, the air tank, I don't have a compressor on this truck, and not even sure if the one off the lopro will mount to this somehow. I don't think it will, so not really worried about that. I'll just kind of air this up with the air compressor and use it for the back bags. It's got the auto leveling or shut off, I guess. Probably not leveling, but you know, shut off for the bags built into the suspension somehow, I guess. I don't know. Not really sure how all that works, but I know it didn't work on the lopro. So the air compressor worked, it built up air pressure, but it wouldn't air up the bags. So I'm sure there's something wrong with, there's a couple different valves and switches built into this. Not really sure how all that works. I'll take it apart as I need to, but basically what I wanted to do was mount the air tank, hook up a line to the rear, air this tank up, and let that switch shut it off. If that won't work, I'll just run it straight to the bags, and I'll put whatever pressure I want in this tank for the bags and just leave the whole system pressurized. I guess that'll work. And then just air it up as it leaks off. You know, it'll probably be quite often, so I'm not really sure yet, but that was kind of my plan because I know nothing about how these work. But I'm gonna take them apart and kind of see what's going on, but yeah, we'll just figure that out when we get there. So you may see me working on this, or you may see me working on the flatbed. You may see me changing the tires, changing the oil. I don't know. So let's get to something. Does anybody remember what I did with the other lug nuts for the front of this thing? Can't find them anywhere. No idea where I put them. So we'll run with 4 until we can find the other. And I was just snugging those on up. I basically just barely was tight from when I did all this forever ago. So I don't want to snug them up a little bit. I'll have to torque those. Hopefully they'll torque all right, because I did have some oil, no, some anti-seize I think I put on those before I put the nuts on them a long time ago. So hopefully that's all right, but we'll just snug them up that way they don't come loose while we're driving around up here, you know, moving around and working on it stuff, because I didn't want that, so for sure. All right, so got the bushings greased front and back on both sides. Got the U-bolts tightened up on both sides. So I bought these bags a while back. I'm not sure what they come off of. I think a 1500 Ram, so I'm not sure weight wise if they're right for this front axle. I mean, who knows, but I thought I'd put them on because I'll show you this clearance here, because of that. So I'm not sure how well it shows up, but let's see. A little bit close to the oil pan. It looks like it's been hitting actually, so, and I've just drove around here. But anyway, I thought I'll put these bags on the front, you know, make it a little stiffer, but at least be able to lift it a little bit off of the oil pan when I'm driving. This side wouldn't be too much trouble. You know, got a couple extra bolt holes here, bolt something on. Built me a bracket for the top, bolted on. Wouldn't be too bad, but let me show you the driver's side. So it's a little more involved over here. I mean, I can't even fit the bag in there, it's hitting the steering linkage. So this would have to be brought way up here somewhere and mounted, and a big bracket made, looks like to me. And then make sure it clears the power steering line. So I guess that would work, but still, I haven't even run that through its whole entire swing. So I think it'll miss it, say in that area, but that's getting kind of far back and way up. So that'd be a convoluted mount. So I thought, okay, maybe we could put them in the spring here. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that feasible to put them in there? You know, this drag link would miss. You know, we'd have to bolt them to these springs somehow. I don't know. Is that an option? I don't know. I've never really fooled with bags, so if you know, let me know. Might be something we'd look at, but I think this would work. I'd have to build a big bracket and have to make it strong enough right there. So yeah. Anyway, just a thought. Well, I feel like since I'm doing some basic stuff here, I'll do a basic oil change, since I've never changed it since I've had the truck. So I bought, just reading on the internet, didn't even know what I needed until I was at the store, and I said, well, I'll go ahead and grab one. According to the internet, the Motorcraft FL1A oil filter fits, and I needed around 7 or 8 or 10 or 9 quarts of 1540 diesel oil, so that's better for these older engines. So what's going in it, don't know if it's good or not. You let me know if I'm doing wrong here, but so what's going in it right now, if the oil filter fits. So we'll go ahead and change this out real quick. Drop the old oil. I pulled the dipstick, still reading good on the dipstick. The oil smells fine. Actually don't look that bad. Don't smell like gas. I thought maybe it'd be, you know, getting some gas leaking in there. I thought maybe the floats are sticking or something in the car, because I know I feel like it loses its prime sometimes, so I don't know where that gas is going. But anyway, I thought maybe it's getting in the engine oil, but it's actually not. It smelled and looked good, so we'll go ahead and change it anyway, because it's been so long, and like I said, I've never changed it. So yeah, we'll go ahead and drop that out there and see what that looks like. We'll go ahead and start it up and let it warm up for just a minute. Had it running last night, but you know, that was last night, so it's pretty warm out today. It's not bad. Probably 60 degrees or so, but we'll let it run for a few minutes before we drop the oil. Let's see if she starts here. Probably should put it in neutral. Uh-oh. Huh. Now that battery worked yesterday. Just wants me to lug my heavy jump pack out here. Terminals are pretty tight. So that's 12.4 volts. Sitting there idling, it's right at 40 oils a pound. 40 pound of oil pressure. A little over 40 now. I guess the gauge is reading right. Still a little noisy. Not sure what I'll do yet about that. I would like to pull it out and, you know, reseal the engine up. You know, all new gaskets, and kind of go put new lifters probably in it. I don't know what it would need, honestly, or if it'd be better to you know, engine swap it. I know everybody does a Cummins in these, which I would love, but I mean, you know, cutting the firewall, doing a lot of that stuff, it probably wouldn't be horrible bad, but not something I was wanting to do. But you can find the Cummins a lot cheaper than anything else usually. So I don't know, might end up doing that one of these days, but for right now I'd like to get it on the road and going, you know, everything working good, then we'll worry about the drivetrain. Okay, take 2. Trying to find the right size wrench. Whoops. So 1/8 inches. They shouldn't have much trouble with leverage on that. Smells like oil. Don't smell no gas in it at all. I may have bought too much oil, because that didn't seem like an awful lot. Now I'm going to be guessing at the oil amount too, because the dipstick, I'll show you here in a second, it's missing the little cap on it that kind of stops it from going too deep. So we'll have to look at that. See if we can't spin this oil filter off of here. Yep, probably not. Woo! Almost knocked my drain plug in with dirt. So this is a Wix 51452 filter. What was on it? Hopefully that crosses over to the Ford Motorcraft one I got. There we go. What I like about an oil filter that's sitting straight up and down. They're a little messy sometimes taking them off, but you can feel them all the way up when you put them back on. Okay, oil filter in place, drain plug in place and tight. Oh, that's tight too. So we'll put some oil in this thing. So is the reason we put diesel oil in these is because we secretly want a diesel in here, or is it really that it's better for the engine? See if I can. Pour it everywhere. Must have poured it on something hot. We only spilled a little bit. We'll let that settle for a second and see where our oil level is. That oil come right back up that dipstick and was leaking out just then. Or I was just missing really bad water. But here's what I was talking about. See the little collar, ferrule, whatever it is, that goes on here to stop the dipstick is missing. So I guess you can kind of eyeball this at the top and get an accurate reading, or somewhat accurate reading. I don't know. Let's try and see. So we'll stop at that thing. Not even on the dipstick. Maybe it does take a lot more oil than I thought. Now my question is, did we buy enough oil? So there's 8 quarts. Let's see what our dipstick reads. Okay, actually right on the full mark. Huh, that's cool. I need to put something on that, so that's why I brought this other dipstick out here. Maybe I can rob that off of there, get it put on there. You think? I don't know. Maybe we'll try that, maybe we won't. And yes, I'll probably start it up and recheck the oil, just to be sure. Now I unhook my jump pack, let's see if she'll start. Oh yeah. Building oil pressure. right in between the full and the add mark. I don't know if it's had time for everything to drain down or what. We might get another quart and add to it here later on, but I believe she'll be all right. I mean, you see how much I drive it. Yeah, between the full and the add mark. We'll let it ride right there for a while. All right. Oh, did you notice any ticking out here on the lifters? I didn't pay attention. I wouldn't think this would have cured our problem, but you know, maybe it's a little thicker. Still sticking a little bit. So got the Loadstar moving around again. The brakes are working, but they're still kind of dragging a little bit. Not sure if that's coming from this old brake booster system on this thing, or the cracked rotor, or stuck calipers. I don't know. Something's going on. But anyway, I'm pleased with it moving around. Got the bolts tightened up in the front, so I'm not worried about the axle flying out from under it right now. Still, the steering is, you know, I welded up that little drag link. There's no cotter pins in the castle nuts. Frame still needs welded better, and the double frame put on it, fish plate, all the things. Something needs done with the, you know, the air bags. Yeah, a lot of stuff, engine stuff. But I'm glad they got the oil change, got it moving around again. Feel good about that. I'll eventually get the bed kind of situated. I'm gonna notch the C channel in the bed to kind of sit down a little bit on this frame, so it's a little lower. And make sure I got clearance for the wheels and stuff. But yeah. Anyway, just figured I'd throw together some of this stuff I've been doing to the Loadstar here in the last few days. So I'll eventually stick all this together in a video. But yeah. Anyway, glad to have this done, and got plenty more to do. So hang in there. And for right now, let's go on something else.